filling up her car with gas. But this will be no ordinary trip to the service station. This disturbing footage exposes a hidden danger at America's gas stations, a danger Ann Gauker knew nothing about.
Get out of the store! Get out of the store!
When this fiery disaster struck in Tulsa, Oklahoma a few years ago, Ann Gauker was obeying the laws of gasoline safety. She was not smoking and had shut off her engine. Precautions her husband, Mike, thought were enough to keep this 35-year-old mother safe.
She was still burning when Empson finally showed up. But she was still alive, still conscious through all of it.
What triggered this fire? Amazingly, it's an everyday annoyance that you probably never thought could be lethal. Static electricity. That's right, the same thing that makes your clothes cling.
All you need is a very slight spark. A spark even less than the spark that is emitted when you cross a carpeted room and touch a door handle.
Lawyer Donald Campbell represents victims of static fires and knows the harm that they can do.
Here's a situation in which individuals normally feel that they're engaging in a safe process. But the problem is this, that on occasion, this process can sometimes burn them beyond recognition.
Static fires like Ann Gauker's happen most often in the fall and winter, when static electricity thrives in the cold, dry air. And women are at greater risk than men. In fact, 78% of all static fires reported involve women.
Women, for concerns of their safety or possible the concerns of safety of having children in the car, will go back in the car. The fact that women will frequently wear more nylon material, including nylons on their legs, certainly contributes to them getting charged up more frequently than men do.
Not all static fires occur while refueling your car. They can happen just as easily when you're filling up an empty gas can. A scenario that nearly cost this San Antonio man his life. Retired Air Force Sergeant Robert Cluis was filling gas cans in the back of his truck when a static spark ignited a cloud of fire.
I can only imagine the misery the guy was going through. It was terrifying. I was scared to death.
Air Force Sergeant Edwin Jones, seen in the dark shirt, was nearby and ran to save Cluis.
His legs were soaked in gasoline. They kept reigniting. As quick as I could get the flames put out, they would reignite.
Thinking quickly, Jones poured washer fluid on Cluis's legs, dousing the flames. Cluis is still recovering from the November ordeal with burns over 17% of his body.
The potential for a static fire exists every time they go to the gas pump.
With the aid of an electrically charged plastic hand, static expert Steve Fowler conducts research at Gaston Fire College in North Carolina on the causes of static fire. Fowler says that every time we get out of our car, we generate a static charge, caused when our clothing rubs against the fabric of the front seat. Ordinarily, we get rid of this static charge by touching something metal, like the car door, the pump, or the nozzle.
Normally when you get out of the car, just the operation of opening the door will get rid of the static on you. But you go back and you put the nozzle in and you start the refueling. They'll put the nozzle on automatic. Many people will then get back in the car, especially in the winter because it's cold.
But by getting back in the car, you create another static charge. And this is the one that's most dangerous, because as gasoline pumps into the vehicle, highly flammable vapors are collecting at the fuel port area.
Where that fuel port is exposed to air creates a volatile mixture of gasoline vapors and oxygen. It doesn't take much to ignite it.
When you leave your car to return to the pump, you are again highly charged. If the first thing you touch is the nozzle, a single spark can ignite a dangerous fireball.
Very often the spark that will ignite the fumes is imperceptible. All they experience is an immediate fire at the fuel port, which induces panic in most people.
But now is when you need to think clearly, because your next move could be a life and death decision.
Don't pull the nozzle out. Leave the nozzle in. Everyone who has been seriously injured or killed pulled the nozzle out.
Experts say never remove the nozzle. It could kill you and others nearby. By By contrast, watch what happens when the nozzle is left in place.
Typically, if they'll leave it alone, the fire will go out. They can go inside the service station, tell them to turn it off, and it will go out. But if they pull the nozzle out, the real danger is there.
How do you impress upon people that this could be a problem?
That's a great challenge for us because, as you know, we have 175,000 service stations across the country.
Denise McCourt of the American Petroleum Institute says the gas industry is developing a warning sign to put on pumps around the country.
Right now, we're working with fire experts to develop a national label that would be used, that would add on language to what already exists, which says, turn off engine, stop smoking.
Getting the word out through programs like this is very, very helpful.
Bob Rankus of the Petroleum Equipment Institute cautions that static fires are extremely rare. How big a problem is this?
We have records of 140 static fires over the last 10 years. When you consider there's 11 to 12 billion fuelings in the United States a year, and we're getting a record of 30 or 40 accidents, static fire accidents a year, that's really a small number.
The odds are very low, but when it occurs to you, it's very devastating.
Just ask Ann Gauker's husband, Mike.
I couldn't kiss her. They wouldn't let me touch her. She didn't have any. She couldn't cry. There was no tear ducts left. So.
Ann's static fire left her with third-degree burns over 90% of her body.
So I asked her, I got to know what you want to do. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. I said, do you want to live? She said, yes. So.
Ann Gauker did not get her wish. She died the next afternoon. Today, her husband Mike hopes that perhaps others can learn from Ann's tragic death. People watch this. What's one of the most important things they should take away from it?
Static electricity is extremely dangerous, and there's some very simple precautions that can save their life. We can't have her, maybe we can save somebody, or she won't have died for absolutely nothing.
Y'all act like you never seen a white person.